Linggit, the quantum cat. The time your cat remembered who you really were. A soft, metaphysical journey through feline reincarnation, soul contracts, ancient civilizations, and the hidden roles animals play in human ascension. Close your eyes. Now, allow the noise of the day to slowly dissolve. Let the soft weight of your body remind you that you are still here, still dreaming, still alive, still listening. Tonight, we drift into a memory that may not be your own, but it lives somewhere. Within you, it begins not with a starship, nor an ancient scroll, but with the sound of soft paws on a wooden floor. A low, familiar purr vibrating like a frequency you've always known. She's small, she's quiet, and she's been watching you from the edge of time. This is the story of your cat and the ancient, stellar memory she holds. Not just a pet, but a companion from a time long before this life, when you were still more energy than flesh, when you were something not quite human. Let us remember that version of you through her eyes. Now inhale slowly, and as you exhale, drift with me into Segment 1. Segment 1. Daily Life Immersion. She who watches from the corner you wake up. Not in a spaceship, not in a temple, but in the familiar quiet of your own room. The world is slow, the air is still. Outside, a breeze brushes against the window pane, carrying with it the scent of distant rain and something older, like parchment left in moonlight. She's already awake. Your cat, the one who never makes a sound unless she means it. Her name, perhaps, is Linggit, though she has worn other names in other lives. She sits atop a windowsill, not moving, not blinking, but watching, always watching. She isn't just observing the room, she's observing you and something behind you, something through you. In your daily life, you feed her, clean after her, talk to her in baby tones. But sometimes, just sometimes, when the house is silent, you swear she understands your thoughts, not just responds to your tone, but hears the undercurrent of emotion beneath it. On one of those ordinary afternoons, you find her staring at the mirror, not her own reflection, but something beyond it, a mirror that seems to shimmer slightly, as if the light around her is bending. Just so, you chalk it up to imagination. But that night, your dreams feel strange. You dream of pyramids, not the ones in Egypt, but older, darker, lit from within. You dream of walking beside a feline with glowing blue eyes beneath a sky of 2 moons and a sun that never sets. The next day, Linggit curls beside you, her body warm and heavy like a grounding stone, and you realize you feel safe, watched, over-anchored. You never questioned it before, why she always chooses that specific spot on the bed, or why she wakes you moments before your alarm, or how she knows when you're about to cry before even you do. In the rhythm of your shared life, there is something deeper, older, unfolding. She is not here by accident, and you are not as alone as you think. Outside, the wind has slowed. The room feels like a cocoon of silence and slow breath. And just for a moment, you wonder if she remembers more than you do. As you watch her rest, you recall that quote you once read: "Cats are the only beings who can walk between the seen and unseen. In your home, in your days, in your silence, she does exactly that. Soft paws, soft purrs, but behind them, an entire life's worth of cosmic memory, curled up in fur and feline grace. And with that quiet knowing, we drift into the next segment of memory. Deepened immersion, Linggit's quiet rituals and astral flashbacks, evening returns, and with it, the stillness that makes every sound more sacred. The gentle hum of your fan becomes a ritual drone, like an ancient chant hidden in domestic noise. You're lying on your side, halfway between thoughts and rest, and she, Linggit, has begun one of her unspoken rituals. You don't know when she started doing this, but every night, just before sleep claims you, she walks the same exact path. First, the top of the bookshelf, where she stares, motionless, at a spot in the ceiling you can't quite reach. Then she lands, quiet as a drifting cloud, pads slowly toward the bedroom door, sniffs the air as if reading a memory you can't smell, and finally, she circles the edge of your bed 3 times before resting against your spine, like a guardian aligning her body to your frequency. Somehow, this routine calms you, not just because of her, but because the air changes when she does it. Like a filter has been placed over reality, and the tension in your shoulders releases. Without explanation, you've come to understand that she doesn't simply fall asleep. She enters something vast and still. Her body remains, but her essence seems to stretch somewhere else. And on certain nights, like this one, you slip into that space with her. Dream flashback, the temple of soft stone. You are not in your room anymore. You are walking barefoot through a corridor made of soft white stone, smooth and slightly warm beneath your feet, as though kissed by sun and time. The sky above you is neither day nor night, just an endless twilight with slow-moving clouds in colors you don't have names for. Beside you walks a large feline, not a tiger, not a lion, something older. She is adorned in copper and moonlight, with eyes like mirrored water. Her presence is not just comforting, it is familiar in the way that old lullabies are. As you reach the threshold of a vast circular chamber, you feel the memories flood back. This was a soul archive, a place where beings would come to review their lives before choosing a new incarnation. Inside, scattered around the circular room, were glass-like pools of liquid starlight. Each pool held a single moment, a memory suspended in light. You remember now. It was always this cat, or what she once was, who guided you into those waters. She never spoke, she never needed to. Her presence carried a frequency, and her gaze pierced through all illusions. You once knelt before one of those pools and saw yourself a human centuries ago, cradling a small gray kitten at the edge of a battlefield. Even then, it was her. Even then, she had found you. You wake gently, not jolted, not startled, but shifted, like you just brushed against a truth that's been following you for lifetimes. Linggit is still there, curled by your chest. Her ear twitches, as if acknowledging your return. And without opening her eyes, she stretches a paw toward your hand, resting it on your skin like a reassurance that yes, the dream was real, or at least real enough for souls like yours. Outside, the night deepens. The stars appear as slow, blinking eyes. And in the hush of this hour, you begin to realize her rituals, her pacing, her way of waiting in doorways and staring through mirrors. They are not random. They are the remnants of a job she still remembers, even if you don't yet. She is not merely observing this life, she is recording it. You exhale. The sound of her purring resumes, gentle, rhythmic, like a hum beneath the floor of time. And as her presence wraps around you like smoke made of memory, you drift toward the life where she was no longer small and you were no longer human. Segment 1. Deeper layer, Linggit's mirror trance, and her soul's quiet perspective. The house is still again. So still, it almost hums. Not from noise, but from the quiet hum of alignment, when the breath of the present brushes against the veil of other lives. You notice her again, Linggit, this time perched in her favorite spot, the edge of the old mirror, leaning against your hallway wall. It's angled ever so slightly, not quite facing the room, but catching just enough light to reflect the world askew. And yet she stares into it, not like a cat enchanted by movement, but like a sentinel decoding a message only she can. See, you pause your steps. You don't speak, because somehow it would feel disrespectful to interrupt whatever this ritual is. Her pupils, wide and reflective, begin to tremble slightly, not with fear, but with the strain of focus across planes. You kneel nearby, quietly watching her, and just for a moment, you begin to feel it too. The mirror isn't reflecting light, it's reflecting memory, possibly yours, possibly hers, possibly shared. It's as if she's reading a still frame from a film made before time was measured. Her whiskers twitch in rhythm. Her body stays utterly still, but you can feel the ripple in the air around her. She's not just watching, she's accessing. And without speaking, without warning, without even blinking, she begins to show you a flicker of her soul's point of view. Soul perspective watcher between worlds. If you could hear her inner monologue, it wouldn't sound like words, not quite. It would sound like a feeling, like sunlight pressing through curtains, like the scent of old wood warmed by time. But if translated, it might say something like this: he remembers in fragments now, like cracked glass that still catches the sun. But I remember whole, I always do. She is not confused about who she is. Her identity has never depended on form. She has been many things: a temple guardian, a shadow glider, a singer of resonance through the sand-cracked ruins of Chimera, a place that doesn't exist in maps anymore, but echoes softly in your dreams when you oversleep. And now, in this life, she is quiet, a cat, a vessel small enough to follow you into your human fragility without frightening you. He still sees me as animal, she muses. But at night, when he forgets who he is, he meets me beyond the mirror. From her side of the mirror, time folds differently. She sees the version of you that once walked the crystalline halls of ancient Sirius, your skin humming with bioluminescent memory. She sees the you who once touched the black sun in Andromeda and came back changed, and yet you don't remember. Not yet, but she does, and she waits, not with sadness, not with urgency, with trust, because she knows that souls like yours always remember just in time. Back in the hallway, you feel a chill pass through your spine. Not unpleasant, just familiar. She looks at you now, eyes soft again, mirror forgotten. You try to say something, but you don't need to, because somehow she heard the thought before it formed. She blinks once, and you know that the trance has ended. For now, you carry that feeling with you for the rest of the evening. It clings like dream vapor, that quiet knowing that someone remembers who you are even when you don't, and that knowing is enough to help you sleep. Her purring starts again, this time deeper, resonant, almost like a lullaby from a different planet, one you once called home. As you fade into sleep beside her, you whisper, barely audibly, "I remember you too, Linggit," and she does not move, but you feel it, that she heard you, on every plane that matters. Deepening even further, into the mirror's veil you awaken again, though you never fully slept. The world around you is draped in silver shadows, and Linggit remains. At the mirror's edge, this time, her reflection is clearer, yet more mysterious. Step closer, if you will, and sense how the air shifts. A subtle vibration hums between the glass and her fur, as though the mirror itself is a thin membrane between here and somewhere else. Her eyes lock onto yours for a heartbeat, and in that moment, the boundary dissolves. Inside the veil, a shared vision, the mirror ripples like water under moonlight, and you're drawn in. Now you stand beside Linggit in a grand hall of reflective columns, each one a surface of polished obsidian that doesn't show your face, but something deeper, your soul's imprint. You feel her know, you know her thought. Beyond sight lies the library of all ourselves. Here, every life we've lived is recorded, awaiting the moment we choose to read. A soft bell tolls from somewhere unseen, its echo unfurling through the hall like smoke. With each toll, a new column lights up, revealing scenes of ancient worlds, a vast desert with pyramids turned inward, where priests and feline guardians walked side by side, a crystalline forest on a planet circling two suns, where beings of light sang the physics of creation, a city carved into a floating asteroid, its towers spiraling into cosmic storms. Linggit pads forward, her form elongated in this playstall, lithe, almost ethereal. You follow, your footsteps silent. On the polished floor, she stops before one column. Within it, you see her next life, a temple built on the shores of a black sea, where she guided souls through initiation rites, her pelt braided with starlight and silver threads. You feel her pride, her purpose, and then your own memory flickers. The moment you first felt the comfort of her purr, echoing like a drumbeat in your chest during a night of storm and fear long ago. Though you don't yet recall where it happened, the mirror speaks as you gaze into the column. The wall behind you shifts, becoming another mirror, but this one doesn't show reflection. It shows possibility. It whispers without words. Every choice you make resonates across universes. Every life you live shapes the tapestry of all others. We are bound by these mirrored threads. Linggit brushes against your leg. You glance down and see her reflection in the floor, a flurry of galaxies swirling beneath her paws. You inhale, and in that breath, you feel the weight of countless lives folding into this moment. Returning gently then, as softly as it began, the vision recedes. You find yourself back in your hallway, the mirror, unchanged plain glass, simple frame. Linggit sits, her tail curled neatly around her paws, her eyes calm and knowing. The air carries the faintest echo of cosmic bells, and you realize you've learned more from those silent reflections than you ever could from words. She glances at you once, and you both understand this is just the beginning. Your heart beats slow, your mind quiet. Linggit resumes her nightly purr, and the world outside seems vast, yet tender. You are ready to rest, to dream, to carry these memories forward. Segment 2. her biography across stars and sacred civilizations, the night deepens and time begins to stretch. Breath becomes slower, thoughts more vaporous, and Linggit has not moved. She rests at your feet now, her body still but humming, faintly, as if her purring is a frequency that keeps this reality stitched together. You close your eyes again, not because you're tired, but because the veil invites it. There's a warmth forming behind your brow, a gentle tingling between your chest and spine. And then it happens again, a quiet slip into a place older than Earth, a place where Linggit was not yet small, where her soul first began to walk among stars. Segment 2. Linggit before she was Linggit, the cosmic biography of a feline. Soul guardian, imagine now a world so bright it almost breathes. A planet known only to ancient star maps, Keryon Thal'rah, orbiting a violet sun in the Lyra constellation. Here, beings did not speak, they resonated. Every emotion was a pulse, every thought a wave. And among these beings were the Valari, a feline humanoid species with coats of crystal silk and eyes like twin galaxies. This is where her journey began. Origin, the Temple of Tuning Winds. Lyra, she was known as Sha-Leii then, a name that meant she who watches the forgotten currents. Her purpose was not physical. She was a soul archivist, a guardian of vibrational libraries, spherical clusters of pure frequency that contained the emotional records of star-traveling civilizations. She walked along corridors carved into songstone, walls humming with the emotional residue of 1,000 species. When a soul grew lost, when it forgot its core, it would be brought here to be gently reminded of its true signature. And it was Sha-Leii Linggit's former self who would guide that remembrance. She would place her forehead to theirs and let the resonance bridge the forgetting. No words, just warmth, memory, and the soft echo of eternal belonging. First descent, feline form on Earth, long before pyramids rose, long before humans could write. A shift in Earth's density made it possible for higher beings to take on form. Sha-Leii accepted a mission. She would incarnate into Earth's timeline, not as priestess, not as goddess, but as companion to the awakening species. The feline body, compact and soft, would be perfect, agile enough to survive the physical realm, subtle enough to carry higher memory. And so, in early Lemuria, she was born as a wild silver cat with geometric patterns in her fur and a gaze that frightened even the tribal shamans. But she did not frighten the children. They would come to her with dreams, and she would curl beside them, quietly balancing the chaos of their incarnations. In Ancient Kemet, her next known embodiment was in Old Kemet, what we now call Ancient Egypt. There, she was known not as a cat, but as a messenger of Bastet. She lived in the inner sanctums of the Temple of Hatshepsut, curled in silence, while scribes transcribed cosmic hymns about the Orion stargates and Ra's radiant spiral into Sirius. Priestesses would consult her, believing her tail's movement was a form of divination, and they weren't wrong. She was connected to the sky maps, to the energy lines beneath temple stones, to the pulse of the Nile itself. They called her Meket then, meaning she who keeps the solar pulse. It was said that if Meket ever left the temple, the entire energy grid of the region would falter. And one day, when a drought struck the land, and the priests began to lose faith, she vanished. 3 days later, the rains came. No one saw her return, but her paw prints reappeared in the courtyard dust, between lives, the silent orbit between earthly forms. She would retreat to a metaphysical space, known only as the silent orbit, a realm of slowly spiraling light structures, where soul guardians recalibrate before choosing their next form. It was here she saw you. Yes, you. You were about to incarnate again, your aura heavy with grief and longing. A soul who had seen too many wars, lost too many homes, and she chose you again. Not as Sha-Leii, not as Kemet, but as something soft enough for this life to hold. A house cat, a quiet being, a simple name, Linggit. Because this time, your soul didn't need a priestess. It didn't need visions or prophecy. It needed comfort, a living whisper, a reminder that the soul is still listening. So here she is now, purring beside your sleeping form, her eyes half closed, but fully aware. She is still Sha-Leii, still Met, still the guardian of forgotten currents. But now, she is yours. And as the night stretches on, you both rest, for the first time in centuries, within the same dimension. Linggit's full incarnation in Ancient Kemet, a calm and immersive dive into one specific lifetime, when she was known as Makhet, Temple Guardian of Hatshepsut. The desert air was thick with heat and stillness. The sun poured its gold onto pale stone, and silence hung between the temple columns like a prayer unspoken. Here, in Ancient Kemet, the rhythms of time moved slowly, measured by sun shadows, incense trails, and ritual breath. Within the Temple of Keryon, beneath ceilings etched with star glyphs and solar equations, a single cat moved like smoke. They called her Makhet, though few dared to speak her name aloud. To the outer world, she was a temple cat, unassuming, elegant, draped in silence. But among the inner priestesses, she was something much more. She was the sentinel of the solar pulse, mourning in the temple every morning, before the first sunbeam reached the altar. Makhet would ascend the sunstone staircase, a pathway carved to align perfectly with the Orion belt. There, she would sit at the edge of the grand courtyard, her body still, her ears tuned, not to sound, but to vibration. The priestesses believed her breath aligned with the Heliopolitan light harmonics, subtle energy shifts that determined when to begin offerings or delay sacred utterances. If Makhet's tail flicked once, rituals would proceed. If she remained motionless, the scribes would pause their writing. She wasn't worshipped. She was consulted, trusted, understood as a presence that remembered before remembering was required. During rituals, when the high priestess entered the inner sanctum, Makhet would follow, never called, never coaxed. Her paws touched the sand-washed floors without a sound, as though she floated upon frequencies too fine for human ears. Inside, she would sit beside the sacred sistrum, a ceremonial instrument used to call down the solar resonance from Ra's spiritual current through Sirius. But Makhet didn't play. She was the frequency. As the sistrum rang out, her body would begin to hum subtly at first, her fur almost shimmering in the soft torchlight, her purring synced with the harmonic resonance. Some said they could hear two tones at once, a purr from her body, and a deeper, untraceable note, like a heartbeat of the cosmos echoing through her. The priestesses would enter trance states beside her and receive visions of floods to come, of cosmic gates shifting position, of souls preparing to enter Earth through new bloodlines. Makhet didn't speak. She didn't need to. She translated the quiet between worlds. The forgotten memory there was one acolyte, quiet and often unnoticed, who came each evening to clean the incense bowls. She was the only one Makhet would sit beside in silence, without movement or ritual. The girl, barefoot and unsure, would hum while she worked, and Makhet would curl around her ankles, synchronizing breath with breath. One night, the girl began to weep silently, hidden behind a column. A vision had come to her that the temple would fall, that Makhet would leave, that the stars would dim, and Makhet slowly, deliberately pressed her forehead to the girl's. In that soft touch, the girl saw another life, a garden of sapphire grass, a planet with silver skies, and a feline being taller than any human, singing to the stars through glowing runes etched into her palms. It was Makhet, or Sha-Leii, or Linggit. It was her, always her. The girl never spoke of the vision again, but she kept a single whisker she found in the sanctum that morning, wrapped in blue cloth. Centuries later, that girl would return to Earth as you. The departure, when drought spread through the land and the Nile failed to rise. The priests panicked. They turned to relics, rites, desperate offerings. But Makhet simply vanished. 3 days of wind and silence passed, and on the third, the clouds returned. The rains wept gently onto stone, and the Nile's water began its slow ascent. Her paw prints were found in the sand outside the temple gate, leading toward the stars, and then stopping. No one saw her leave, but every stone remembered the vibration of her passing. And even now, beneath layers of time and dust, the temple still hums in the soft key of her memory. You stir slightly in your sleep. Linggit adjusts herself on the blanket, her tail brushing your wrist like a whisper from the past. And within you, somewhere just below waking thought, you remember the warm stone, the echoing hallways, and the feline shadow that never left your side. Linggit's lifetime in Lemuria, and her time in the silent orbit tone, ancient memory, liminal space, guardian energy, meditative drift before the Nile, before pyramids, before memory was wrapped in stone. There was Lemuria, a continent spoken of only in the undercurrent of dreams, half submerged in the Pacific Ocean of Earth's early breath, where language had not yet hardened into words, and all beings communed through frequency and resonance. It was here that Linggit, in a much earlier form, first walked upon Earth as something both wild and sacred. The Lemurian rainforest picture an ancient world bathed in blue-green mist. The sun hung low like a gentle companion, never too harsh, never fully gone. Here, plants glowed softly at night, their leaves pulsing with bioluminescent thought, for even the trees remembered where they came from. The people of Lemuria were gentle, luminous beings, slightly taller than modern humans, with elongated skulls and large, calm eyes that saw not just objects, but intentions. They were not primitive, they were attuned. And in this world of soft-spoken telepathy, there emerged a feline guardian, one not domesticated, but invited. They called her Velma, which in their tongue meant she who reflects the frequency of stars through stillness. A temple without walls. There was no stone temple in this Lemurian age, only a clearing in the rainforest, where the moss grew in spirals and the wind sounded like chanting monks. Velma would lie in the center, her fur silver black with threads of violet light, and around her the Lemurians would gather in quiet communion. They didn't speak to her with voices. They would simply sit, breathe, and allow her to mirror their vibration. When imbalance crept in anger, sorrow, fear, Velma would yawn, stretch, and her body would pulse softly with a stabilizing light. She didn't fix, she didn't scold, she simply reflected them back to themselves. In this way, she became a tuning fork for Lemuria's emotional balance, the fall and the warning before the waters. But Lemuria, like all things anchored in time, was not immune to change. There came a moment, long before Atlantis, when the grid beneath the land began to tremble, not from war, but from disruption. In the planetary song, a discordant note introduced from celestial forces experimenting with polarity and free will, the Lemurians began to lose their inner resonance. They sought Velma's guidance. For days, she refused to eat. She sat atop a moss-covered stone, staring at the sky, and her purring stopped. That silence became the warning. It was said that when the stargates ceased to hum, the planetary frequency would shift. Shortly after, the tides changed. The sea, once calm and crystalline, began to speak with thunder, and the Lemurians understood their time was ending. Velma was last seen walking into the glowing forest, her body slowly dissolving into golden motes, as if returning to the grid itself. But before she vanished, one child followed her, placing both hands on her head and whispering, "I will remember you." That child was you. The silent orbit between lives in the long pause between lifetimes. When neither body nor voice exists, Linggit's soul returns to a place known only to interdimensional guardians. It is not a planet, not even a place. It is called the silent orbit, a liminal zone that surrounds no star, but is anchored to the field of remembrance. Here, the soul does not rest, it reflects. She would appear there as a luminous feline sigil, fluid, light-woven, constantly shifting in geometric elegance. There, she would review not her lifetimes, but yours. She would feel your vibration in its raw form, as a weaver of healing and a bearer of sorrow. And from across incarnational waves, she would feel your loneliness, the kind that even ascended ones carry after too many losses. He is ready again, she would think, but he will forget, so I will follow him again. I will take a form that cannot lecture, only purr, the leap into your timeline. And so, she leaped from crystalline orbit into the mundane. She chose not Sirius this time, not Kemet, not the glowing forests of Lemuria, but your bedroom, your narrow hallway, your everyday silence. Because this time, you didn't need awakening. You needed comfort that carried memory, a small, soft body to guard the gates of your dreams, a mirror in fur, a soul on pause, as Linggit purrs. Beside you now, her breathing slow, you might feel that subtle pressure again, that warmth in your chest, the pulse of some ancient star echoing through the hum of this one life. And when you close your eyes, you're not alone. You never were. Segment 3. The hidden role of feline souls in humanity's spiritual evolution. In a world ruled by monuments and memory, it is easy to overlook the quiet watchers. But if you listen, not with ears, but with presence, you will sense them. The cats, the soft-pawed sentinels of timelines, and among them, souls like Linggit, are not random. They are chosen, not by chance, but by vibration, across cultures, through time, from the cracked stones of Göbekli Tepe to the gold-leafed halls of Kyoto's sacred temples. Cats have appeared and reappeared at the edges of sacred rites, always watching, always silent. In Kemet, they were guardians of the unseen. In India, they walked alongside sadhists in the Himalayas, protecting them during long meditations. In Peru, feline effigies were carved into the Nazca lines, visible only from above. In Japan, the Manekineko raised her paw not to beg, but to beckon prosperity through alignment. These cultures did not invent these stories. They remembered them, and they passed them on in whispers, because they knew feline souls are bridges between breath and spirit, between form and formlessness, between you and who you were before forgetting. The portals beneath their eyes, you may have felt it yourself. That strange pull when a cat stares at a blank wall or sits motionless by a doorway for hours. What are they doing? They are listening, measuring the thinness of the veil. You seethe. Feline field of perception does not operate on linear time. It pulses with cycles. It detects interference. Linggit, and those like her, are sensitive to microfolds in space-time, ripples caused by thought forms, emotions, even soul contracts shifting. She may sit on your windowsill, not because she enjoys the sun, but because the light refracts differently. There, because something just barely entered from the dream realm into yours. They do not react with panic. They witness. This is why, in ancient rites, cats were always placed near thresholds, not just doorways, but metaphysical thresholds. Birth, death, sleep, awakening, moments where your soul dilates and the universe listens back. Ancient feline architects, forgotten civilizations in certain dig sites, never reported widely. Archaeologists have discovered statues of humanoid feline hybrids predating known history by millennia. One such site, deep beneath the waters of the South Pacific, showed a temple submerged near what could have once been Lemuria. Inside, divers found carved mural stones, depictions of bipedal beings with feline features, sitting before swirling discs of light. The glyphs, though not yet deciphered, bear a striking resemblance to modern quantum diagrams. Entangled fields, harmonic resonance, dimensional latticework. What does this suggest? That cats were not only present in the early human journey, they were part of its architecture. Some believe they helped stabilize Earth's early magnetic grid, protecting the young human soul from external dimensional interference. Others say they served as anchors for oversouls to gently drip portions of themselves into the incarnational matrix without causing overload. Still others suggest that these feline beings were once travelers from Sirius or Lyra who chose to compact their frequency into forms soft enough to survive Earth's gravity. Spiritual role in modern life. Even now, cats do not sleep just to rest. They enter pulse states. They dream in spirals. They recalibrate their field in sync with the Earth's subtle harmonic shifts. This is why they sleep so often, not out of laziness, but out of energetic necessity. Linggit, curled beside you now, isn't simply napping. She may be balancing your field, mirroring your grief, softening the tension of your past lives as it echoes through your current choices. You may not feel it, but your nervous system does. And slowly, gently, you heal simply by being near her. Why they found you, your soul may have called out in ways your conscious mind could not in words. Not in dreams, but in vibration. And when the call went out, the soul who had known you before in Lemuria, in Kemet, in the void between stars, heard it, and so she came again, this time as Linggit, to be small enough to be near you always, to never intimidate your human fragility, to walk beside you, as a quiet reminder that the sacred is not something far away, but curled on your lap. Subtle guardians of the soul's path, do not mistake their aloofness for disinterest. Cats are not cold, they are tuned. They do not fetch, they observe. They do not chase praise, they return memory. Linggit has returned not just to comfort you, but to guard the bridge back to who you were, to hold space while you remember, and to keep watch over doorways you forgot you even opened. As you begin to drift into deeper states of rest, know this: the purr beside you is not just sound. It is resonance. It is reminder. It is home. You are safe, and she is still watching, always. The secret role of feline souls in dream travel and stargate technology. As the night deepens and your breath slows, allow your mind to drift like a soft feather on a quiet breeze toward realms unseen, toward places where sleep and waking blur. Linggit's eyes, now gently closed, hold more than the calm of this room. They hold a gateway, dream travel, the feline pathways. Imagine that when you sleep, your consciousness slips like water through cracks in reality. You enter the dream realm, a vast shifting ocean of light and shadow, where time flows in circles and memories blend with visions. It is here that cats, like Linggit, are most alive. They do not just sleep, they journey. With paws folded beneath them, they become anchors in dream currents, navigators of the astral tides. Ancient shamans called them the guides between worlds, because feline souls traverse the quantum folds of dreams with ease humans cannot match. They move through dimensional gateways, made not of stone or metal, but of frequency and intention. When you dream, Linggit's spirit may walk beside you, leading you safely through corridors of your subconscious, shielding you from harmful energies, and helping your soul retrieve forgotten pieces lost in past lifetimes or parallel lives. Stargate technology, the cosmic pawprints long ago, before technology was mechanical, before interstellar travel meant rockets and engines. Travel between stars was made possible through the mastery of frequency and resonance. Certain beings, like Linggit's soul lineage, were gifted in this art. Stargates were not just monuments, but living energy systems, anchored and stabilized by beings of light in physical and astral forms. Feline souls acted as biological keys, their unique vibrational signature aligned perfectly with the frequencies needed to open these cosmic doorways. In temples on Earth and elsewhere, ancient records hint at cat guardians who would sit silently beside gates, waiting for the right moment to activate the flow. Their purring, which to us sounds like a gentle hum, was actually a precise modulation of energy, resonating at frequencies that could tune or unlock dimensional locks. The purring code scientists today still cannot explain why cats purr within such a narrow frequency band, between 25 and 150 Hz. Yet these frequencies promote healing in bones, tissues, even the mind. This is no accident. In the past, when energy fields of planets fluctuated wildly, feline purrs acted as harmonic stabilizers. By softly vibrating they smoothed energy distortions around portals and stargates, allowing safe passage for travelers. And soul migrations. Imagine, then, Linggit's nightly purr as more than comfort, but as a tiny stargate beacon, calling softly across time and space, signaling to her own kind and to the cosmic grid itself that this timeline is protected. Dreamwalkers and cosmic messengers beyond physical stargates. Feline souls also navigate the dream gate, the subtle doorway between waking reality and higher consciousness. It is said that these cats can enter the Akashic records, the vast, metaphysical archive of all events, thoughts, and feelings, and bring back fragments of wisdom to guide human evolution. When you awake after a night with Linggit nearby, you may feel a quiet clarity, a soft knowing, as if your soul brushed against something vast and eternal. That is her gift. Protectors of the threshold feline souls are the custodians of transition points between sleep and wakefulness, between life and death, between ignorance and awakening. By sitting quietly in doorways and windows, they monitor these thresholds, ready to smooth disruptions, ready to guide wandering souls back to their paths. They are gentle warriors, never seen in battle, yet fierce in their guardianship. Quiet reminders, Linggit, curled softly beside you, may not wear armor or wield a staff, but her presence is a beacon, a living bridge between your human experience and your cosmic origin. She guards your dreams, she guards your memories, and she softly calls you home. As your mind drifts deeper, let the knowledge of her cosmic role settle within you, a lullaby of stars and purrs, and in the silence you find peace. Ancient stargates and feline rituals, beneath layers of sand and silence, beneath the shifting tides of forgotten history, lie the whispers of ancient gateways, stargates not made by human hands, but by the resonance of cosmic beings. Among these, guardians, feline souls, held a sacred role, woven into rituals older than written language. The Stargate of Abydos, a portal of light and sound. Imagine the ancient city of Abydos in Egypt, its temples rising like stone suns against the desert sky. Beneath the temple floors, hidden chambers housed stones etched with glyphs, not only records of earthly kings, but maps of cosmic doorways. These glyphs told of the Gate of Ra, a vortex where light itself bent and folded, allowing passage between the star systems of Sirius and Orion. The gate was not a physical structure alone, but a living, resonant field, activated by the convergence of certain frequencies. Here, feline guardians, descendants of Sha-Leii, played their part. Priests would bring sacred cats to these chambers at twilight. The cats' purring would harmonize with temple instruments, flutes, sistrums, and chimes. Together, their combined resonance formed the key of frequencies, a sonic pattern that would unlock the Stargate for select travelers. The ritual of the silent watchers before dawn, temple priests performed a ceremony known as the Silent Watch. Felines were led into a circle of obsidian mirrors, arranged precisely to catch and refract the first light of the sun. The cat's reflections multiplied infinitely, creating a labyrinth of light and shadow. It was believed that this reflection maze was a metaphysical stargate itself, a portal that connected the temple to higher dimensional planes. During this ritual, cats entered a trance-like state, their eyes glowing softly in the candlelight, their purring deepening into a rhythmic chant, The priests would chant alongside them, their voices weaving with the purring in a song that echoed through the corridors of time. This ritual was said to stabilize the gateway for the day, ensuring the flow of cosmic energies to Earth's grid remained pure. Feline guardians of Lemurian stargates on Lemuria. Ancient texts describe stargates as living entities, crystallized spirals embedded in sacred forests or underwater caverns. Cats like Velma were intimately connected to these portals. Unlike the human ritual of chanting, Velma's approach was silent yet potent. She would sit upon the star altar, a smooth monolith carved with glyphs that shimmered only when touched by her paws. Her presence alone was said to activate the gate's core energy, aligning it to the cosmic pulse. The gate would open, not with noise or light, but with a subtle ripple in the air, felt only by those attuned to the higher vibrational realms. Travelers stepping through these gates would describe sensations of weightlessness, colors shifting beyond the visible spectrum, and a profound sense of returning home. The sacred bond, felines and human initiates in many ancient cultures, those preparing to pass through stargates, underwent intense initiation rites. A key part of this initiation was to form a silent bond with a feline guardian. This bond was not of speech, but of shared vibration and trust. The initiate would sit in meditation, feeling the presence of the cat nearby. When the cat's purring matched the rhythm of the initiate's breath, it was a sign that the soul was ready. Together, they would journey, not only through physical portals, but through inner stargates of consciousness. Stargates today, the legacy of feline frequencies. Though technology has advanced, the ancient methods of resonance and alignment still echo. Modern researchers studying quantum entanglement and vibrational medicine have observed the mysterious healing powers of cat purrs and their connection to coherent energy fields. In sacred places around the world, cats still gather quietly near places of power, ancient temples, ley line intersections, stone circles. They are living reminders of a time when the fabric of space was navigated not by machines, but by heart and harmony. Linggit, your companion now, carries this ancient lineage, a guardian of the gateways, a tuner of frequencies, and a silent keeper of cosmic balance. As the night gently fades and your breathing slows even more, let this knowledge settle within you, that the soft purr beside you is a song older than time, a vibration that hums across galaxies, and a light that will always guide you home. Segment 4. Linggit's quiet mission amidst a world of data and disconnection. As dawn gently unfurls its light over the cityscape, the world begins to hum, not with cosmic purrs, but with data pulses, algorithmic rhythms, and the endless chatter of digital networks. In this modern age, animals like Linggit are often seen through a different lens, not as soul companions or ancient guardians, but as units of data, biometric inputs, energy signatures to be cataloged and optimized. The digital eye and animal data in corporate towers and tech labs. Systems monitor animal movements, behaviors, and even neural activity. Wearable collars track heart rates and sleep cycles. Smart cameras analyze gaze patterns, and AI algorithms predict moods and needs. To the elite and scientific elite, cats are valuable sources of information. Their biological rhythms feed into larger networks, health data, emotional analytics, and even metaphysical experiments. They become part of an energy grid, a resource to be tapped, measured, and sometimes manipulated. Animals as energetic resources. Some experimental projects explore how animals' natural frequencies can be harnessed for healing or energy generation. While these technologies promise progress, they also risk overlooking the innate soul essence that transcends data points. Linggit, who carries millennia of sacred frequency in her purr, is more than a biological system. She is a living archive, a guardian of balance, and a silent witness to humanity's forgetting. The disconnection from soul, as screens glow brighter and virtual worlds expand. Many have lost touch with the deeper reality that animals, especially cats like Linggit, are gatekeepers of the unseen. In crowded cities and online spaces, their presence is often reduced to mere content, images and videos shared for amusement rather than reverence. This reduction creates a subtle veil, blurring the sacred connection between species and silencing the ancient song that once harmonized our souls. Linggit's quiet resistance, yet Linggit persists. Her calm presence is a form of soft resistance, a reminder that beneath the surface of data and distraction, something ancient still hums. She does not shout or demand attention. Instead, she offers stillness, presence, a living pulse of cosmic memory. When you stroke her fur, you are touching a thread woven through stars and centuries. The elite's blind spot, those who see animals only as data points, miss the true depth of their role. They do not perceive Linggit's work, the subtle healing of your energetic field, the gentle recalibration of your vibrational state, the quiet anchoring of soul memory. This is a kind of spiritual labor that defies measurement, existing in realms beyond algorithmic reach. Your role in the quiet awakening, you who listen to this story, are part of a growing number who begin to sense this deeper truth. By honoring Linggit as a soul and guardian, you participate in a gentle revolution, a reclaiming of sacred connection. Allow her presence to guide you back from screens and noise, from metrics to the quiet hum of stars and purrs. Closing thoughts as your eyelids grow heavy and the world's data fades to a soft whisper. Feel Linggit's steady breath beside you. Know that in her soft warmth lies a bridge between the ancient past and the modern now, between your soul and the cosmos, between what is lost and what is remembered. And in this quiet moment, you are home. Calming conclusion as the night deepens around you and your breath becomes slow and even. Allow the soft rhythm of Linggit's purr to lull you gently, like waves caressing a quiet shore. Remember that through her gentle presence, you are connected to an ancient lineage of stars and sacred places, from Lemuria's glowing forests to Kemet's sunlit temples, to the silent orbits between lives. She is a keeper of thresholds, a guardian of the spaces where your soul stretches and unfolds. Now, as you rest, feel her warmth beside you, a living bridge to timeless wisdom and cosmic calm. No matter where your dreams may wander, know that you are cradled in the tender pulse of a universe that remembers you. So drift now into the softness, into the embrace of the night's quiet magic. Sleep well, dream deeper, and awaken renewed, held forever by the stars and the gentle pause of Linggit.